Chapter 4. Commodity Production. Commodities and money. Commodity production, the point of departure for the rise of capitalism and a general feature of capitalism. Capitalism is based on exploitation. The capitalist class profits by exploiting the labor of the working class. Commodity production is central. Everything is produced to be bought and sold in a capitalist system. Commodity production predates capitalism. It existed in earlier societies, but capitalism makes it universal. Simple commodity production, based on individual producers owning their means of production and specializing in specific products. Capitalist commodity production differs from simple production because it relies on exploiting wage labor. Private ownership drives competition. This leads to inequality and the concentration of wealth, paving the way for capitalism. Commodity exchange is fundamental. It's the most common and basic economic interaction in a capitalist society. The commodity and its characteristics. Dual nature of the labor embodied in a commodity. Commodities are defined by two key characteristics. They fulfill a human need, use value, and are produced for exchange, not personal use. Use value refers to the usefulness of a thing, whether it directly satisfies a need or aids in production. It's the material basis of wealth but doesn't automatically make something a commodity. Exchange value is the quantitative ratio at which commodities are traded. It reflects the common element that makes different commodities comparable: labor. Value is the socially necessary labor time embodied in a commodity. This explains why things requiring more labor generally have higher value and vice versa. Exchange value is the outward expression of value. The act of exchange reveals the underlying social relations and division of labor between commodity producers. Commodities have a dual nature. They possess both use value, utility, and value, socially necessary labor time. This duality stems from the twofold character of labor. Concrete labor produces specific use values, e.g., a tailor's labor creates a coat, while abstract labor, the expenditure of human labor power in general, creates value. Concrete labor is differentiated by its purpose, methods, tools, and results, leading to diverse use values. Abstract labor is the common denominator underlying all concrete labor forms. It's the expenditure of human effort regardless of the specific task. In a system of private property, this duality reflects a contradiction. Individual labor is private, but the social division of labor makes it inherently social. The social character of labor is hidden during production and revealed in exchange. The market determines whether a commodity's value is socially recognized. Abstract labor is a historical concept specific to commodity economies. In earlier economic systems, the social character of labor was directly apparent, not masked by exchange. The value of a commodity is determined through the spontaneous and unplanned comparison of different commodities in the market. This reduces concrete labor to the abstract labor that constitutes value. Socially necessary labor time. Simple and complex labor value is determined by labor time. The more labor it takes to produce something, the more valuable it is. Socially necessary labor time. Value isn't based on individual effort, but on the average labor time needed under normal conditions with average skill and technology. Productivity of labor. Higher productivity means producing more in the same amount of time, leading to lower value per item. Intensity of labor. Working harder in the same amount of time creates more value. Complex versus simple labor. Skilled labor creates more value than unskilled labor in the same amount of time. Reduction to simple labor. Different types of skilled labor are ultimately valued in terms of how much simple labor they represent. Development of the forms of value. Nature of money value and exchange value. Value is created by labor, but we only see it when we compare goods through exchange. Relative and equivalent forms of value. When comparing two goods, one expresses its value in terms of the other. The first has relative value, the second is the equivalent. Elementary form of value. In simple barter, one good is directly traded for another, e.g., one axe for 20 kilograms of grain. Total or expanded form of value. As trade expands, one good can be exchanged for many others, giving a fuller picture of its value. General form of value. One good emerges as a universal equivalent for which all other goods are traded, but this can vary from place to place. Contradictions of direct exchange. Barter becomes inefficient as societies grow. People may not want what others have to offer, leading to a need for a more flexible system. Need for a single equivalent. Growing trade and diverse goods acting as universal equivalents created a need for a single standard form of money. Emergence of money. Precious metals, gold and silver, became the preferred form of money due to their homogeneity, uniformity, divisibility, durability, high value in a small, portable form. Money as universal equivalent. Money represents the value of all other commodities and can be exchanged for any of them. Money's distinct role. Money stands apart from other goods as the embodiment of general value and a means to satisfy any need. Money as social labor. Money represents social labor and reflects the relationships between producers in a market economy. Functions of money. Expanding functions of money. As economies grow, money takes on more roles. Measure of value, medium of circulation, means of accumulation, saving, means of payment, credit, worldwide currency. Measure of value. Money allows us to compare the value of different goods and express them in a common unit. This is done indirectly since it's hard to directly measure the labor that goes into each product. Money must have value. To measure value, money itself must be a valuable commodity. Price. The price of a good is its value expressed in money. We don't need to physically hold money to determine a price. It's a mental calculation based on the perceived value of the good and the value of money. Monetary units and standards. Countries define units of money, dollars, pounds, etc., and divide them into smaller units. These units provide a standard for measuring prices. Standard of price versus measure of value. As a standard of price, money measures the quantity of the money metal itself, e.g., how much gold is in a dollar. This is different from its role as a measure of value, where it measures the value of other goods. Changes in the value of money. Governments can change how much gold is in a unit of currency, but they can't change the underlying value of goods. If the gold content of money is reduced, prices will rise to reflect the true value of goods in terms of gold. Factors affecting prices. Prices can change due to changes in the value of goods, due to changes in labor productivity, or changes in the value of gold itself, e.g., due to new gold discoveries. Medium of circulation. Money acts as an intermediary, facilitating the exchange of goods. For this to work, physical money needs to be present. Coins. Coins replaced raw precious metals as a more convenient form of currency. They are standardized units of value guaranteed by the state. Worn coins and token money. Worn coins can still circulate because money's role in exchange is temporary. This led to governments debasing coins, reducing their precious metal content, and turning them into tokens representing value. Separation of buying and selling. Money allows buying and selling to happen at different times, creating the possibility of economic crises if many people sell without buying. Means of accumulation. Money can be saved or hoarded because it represents universal wealth and can be stored. The desire to accumulate money grows with the expansion of market economies. Means of payment. Money facilitates credit transactions where payment is deferred. This creates more complex economic links and increases the risk of crises if debtors fail to pay. Growing contradictions. The evolution of money and its functions reflects the increasing complexity and interconnectedness of market economies, but also highlights the potential for instability and crises. Amount of money in circulation. The amount of money needed in an economy depends on the total value of goods being traded, the speed at which money changes hands, velocity of circulation, the use of credit, which reduces the need for physical money. Law of money circulation. A formula summarizing the factors above. Total prices of goods, value of credit transactions plus due payments. Velocity of money equals amount of money needed. Universality of the law. This law applies to any society with market exchange. World money. In international trade, money returns to its original form as precious metals, mainly gold. It's used for buying goods, paying debts, and transferring wealth between countries. Money and exploitation. In societies with class divisions, money becomes a tool for exploitation, allowing one class to profit from the labor of others. This reaches its peak under capitalism. Gold and paper money. Origin of paper money. Paper money emerged from the use of worn coins that were essentially tokens representing gold. Paper money as tokens. Paper money is issued by the state and has no intrinsic value. It represents gold but cannot be exchanged for it. Excess issue and depreciation. If the government prints too much paper money, it loses value, depreciates, because there's more money circulating than needed for the existing goods and services. Historical examples. Paper money has been around for centuries, with early examples in China, America, France, and Britain. Inflation. When the government prints excessive amounts of paper money to cover expenses, it leads to inflation, a general increase in prices. Impact of inflation. Inflation hurts workers because wages don't keep up with rising prices. It benefits capitalists, especially exporters who can sell goods cheaper due to lower labor costs. The law of value and economic law of commodity production, competition and anarchy. In market economies with private ownership, producers compete with each other without any central planning. This leads to uncertainty and a constant struggle for survival and profit. Law of value as regulator. The law of value, where goods exchange based on the labor needed to produce them, acts as an invisible hand guiding production through competition. Price fluctuations. Prices fluctuate around the true value of goods due to supply and demand. These fluctuations signal to producers what to produce more or less of. Driving technological progress. Producers who innovate and reduce their costs can sell at market prices and gain extra profit. This encourages others to adopt new technologies, leading to overall progress. Waste and contradictions. Despite driving progress, this system is also wasteful and prone to crises. The unplanned nature of production can lead to overproduction, economic instability, and social inequality. Rise of capitalism. The law of value, through competition and price fluctuations, leads to the concentration of wealth in the hands of a few, creating capitalists and proletarians. This process constantly reinforces and expands capitalist relations. Commodity fetishism. Social relations masked as things. In a market economy, relationships between people are hidden behind relationships between commodities. We interact with each other primarily through buying and selling goods. Producers dependent on the market. The success or failure of individuals is tied to the prices of the goods they produce, which fluctuate independently of their control. Value as a natural property. The social labor embedded in a commodity's value appears as if it's a natural feature of the thing itself, like its color or weight. Commodity fetishism. This is the tendency to treat goods as if they have magical powers, obscuring the social relations and human labor behind them. Money and fetishism. Money amplifies fetishism. Its power to buy anything appears inherent to it, rather than a result of social structures. Root of fetishism. Commodity fetishism stems from the separation of producers and the focus on private labor, with the social nature of labor only becoming apparent during exchange. Overcoming fetishism. To abolish commodity fetishism, private ownership of the means of production must be abolished. This implies a shift to a system where production is planned and coordinated socially, rather than driven by market forces.